Hello and welcome to a new show on this channel, Visiting the Archives, where I look into bits and pieces of lore within games and talk about them. This may range from an introductory summary to an in-depth discussion based upon my level of knowledge on the subject going in. Today's episode will be a summary of the guilds of Ravnica for Magic the Gathering. For those who are unaware, Ravnica is itself a plane of existence within Magic the Gathering, and now D&D, that is one massive city that is governed by 10 multicolored guilds, and by multicolored I mean each one is a combination of two colors of mana from the Magic the Gathering universe that represent various forms of magic and just the world in itself. I promise the rest of this is scripted. Given that I've been getting back into Magic and there was a recent big story arc about this plane while I was getting back in, I thought it'd be a good start to this new series of lore, because I really love lore in games, so I wanted to talk about stuff. So yes, I promise the rest of this is scripted though. Anyway, shoutouts to RuneSmith and Rustic Studies for inspiring the topic here. I started watching their videos when I started getting back into Magic. They have really cool videos about this stuff too. That inspired me to do this, and a special shout out to the Exploring series and Frederick Knudsen for inspiring the formats of this video. Links to their channels will be in the description. The Azorius Senate, blue-white mana. The Azorius Senate serves as what one could reasonably call the governmental body of Ravnica. Founded by the legendary Sphinx Azor I, the Senate is split into three pillars. The Jelen pillar create the laws, the Liev go about investigating and arresting those who break the law, and the Sova pass judgment upon said lawbreakers. Due to their nature as more of a government than a traditional guild, the Azorius Senate is known for being very strict and bureaucratic, causing true action from the guild to be a bit slow at times. The Boros Legion, red-white. The Boros Legion, in contrast, are known for taking action sometimes too quickly. Founded and led by militant angels that the guild seems to effectively worship, the Boros Legion serve as the main military force, as well as working alongside the Azorius Senate to enforce law and order via the Wojek League. As effective as the Boros are, however, they are unfortunately rather overzealous and tend to shoot first and ask questions later. The Golgari Swarm, green-black. The Golgari Swarm are considered one of the weirder guilds in Ravnica. The Swarm are the largest guild by far, consisting mainly of a semi-hive-minded collective of undead that function in tandem with one another as Ravnica's agricultural and decompositional arm, growing food and consuming the waste. They reside mainly within the underground network of Old Ravnica. You ever wondered how a city encompassing an entire world can expand? Well, they simply build more city on top of what's already there, leaving the old city to be buried deep under layers upon layers of more city, providing ample room for the Golgari to build up its hives and expand without much notice. In the end, the Golgari see life and death as an unstoppable cycle, a cycle that will, in time, consume the entire city. The Gruul clans, red-green. The Gruul have had a turbulent history, to say the least. In the beginning, they maintained the untamed wilds of Ravnica and kept the city's expansion in check. But soon enough, the city and its guilds took over the entire plain and left the Gruul with no purpose. Exiled by the Guild Pact, the Gruul became loosely affiliated clans that resided within ruined city districts that they themselves had created. With no more purpose, the Gruul clans are in open revolt, raiding districts and then residing there until resources are drained, and at which point they move to raid somewhere else. The ultimate unifying goal of the clans is to bring down civilization and return the plane to a primal age where savagery and strength rules above all else. The Izzet League, blue-red. The Izzet League are on the opposite side of the red mana coin, if you will. The Red-Blue Guild of Ravnica is made up of mad inventors and engineers who seek to create new technology regardless of the cost. The guild was founded and is led by the ancient dragon Niv Mizzet, aka the Firemind, who uses his extensive knowledge of the world to inspire its members to experiment and invent as much as possible. This drive to invent does provide Ravnica with its wonders of technology and engineering, but at the same time it can cause more than a few problems. The Izzet have no real idea of what they're inventing as they are inventing it, and therefore they have to study what they've created to even discern what purpose it can serve. To the Izzet, if it functions, it's a success. The Orzhov Syndicate, white-black mana. Beneath all the glitz and glamour of the City of Guilds lies a dark criminal underworld. An underworld run by the Orzhov Syndicate. Also known as the Church of Deals, the Orzhov's preaching of constant donation to them has turned them into something of a bank that controls most of the city's economy. To the Orzhov, money is power, and power is everything. They use their vast amount of wealth to bribe other guild members and influence Ravnican politics, even having many of the Azorius Senate in their pockets to pass laws that unfairly benefit the Syndicate. The Syndicate are ruthless in collecting their debt as well. Even in death, one cannot escape it, as they will simply pull their soul from the afterlife and force them to work off their debt, effectively enslaving them for eternity. The Syndicates are truly a sinister force that haunts Ravnica's streets. The Rakdos Cult, red-black. A more overt guild would be the Rakdos Cult. This guild was founded and led by the titular demon Rakdos. The cult is focused on nothing but life's pleasures, no matter how depraved. As such, they are in charge of service and entertainment. Restaurants, bars, clubs, and other similar places are more than likely run by the Rakdos cultist rings. But one must be careful in their territory, as the cult takes a special pleasure from causing death and chaos, even to the point where they sometimes host parades as an excuse to go around indiscriminately killing people in the street. Needless to say, the other guilds need to keep their chaos in line. The Selesnya Conclave, green-white. While the Gruul clans were exiled from the Guild Pact of Ravnica, nature still needs tending to. This is where the Selesnya Conclave come in. They make the nature within Ravnica their sanctuaries, positioned under massive trees that they fiercely protect. Selesnya's main goal, however, has been to expand their numbers so that they can ensure no slight against them goes unpunished. They are widely criticized for claiming to be a peaceful guild while also sending out members to silence dissent and rumors that they are really a nature cult that brainwashes its members, although the truth seems to be a mixture of both, whatever it may be. The Simic Combine, green-blue. The Simic Combine, however, take nature down a different path. Made up of various doctors turned geneticists, the Simic Combine is concerned with getting nature to adapt and evolve the ever-expanding and advancing conditions of the city. To do this, they use their magic to create large sinkholes in the ground that lead to Ravnica's oceans and build their labs inside, where they study Ravnican wildlife, and see how it can evolve and stay strong and thrive despite the urban life the city holds. While this is a noble goal, the Simic have a pattern of taking it too far and creating monsters that wreak havoc upon the people of Ravnica that the other guilds need to come in and deal with. House Dimir, blue-black. Finally, the exception to my alphabetical list is House Dimir. Now, where one could play up the joke that House Dimir is effectively nothing, I'm going to divulge some truth within this video, due to my knowledge within the archives. Dimir is effectively the Ravnican equivalent of the Illuminati. Where there is an Orzhov bribing an Azorius into passing laws, there's a Dimir agent in the shadows pulling both of their strings without them even knowing it. For the longest time, House Dimir's very existence was unknown to the public at large. Even many of its agents, spies, assassins, and couriers were completely unaware of who they truly work for. And even in the current situation where House Dimir is known publicly as the 10th Guild, their true nature is hidden under the guise of being simple librarians and archivists that maintain the documented knowledge of Ravnica. But in every dark corner of the city lies part of an intricate information network the Dimir used to control the major events of the city from behind the scenes. And there you have it. The Guilds of Ravnica, all nicely summarized there for you in a little dramatic manner. This last part is unscripted, by the way. I hope to make this a bit more of a recurring series. I like the idea of making a little video lore presentation sort of thing. I like talking about lore, so this is just a good excuse to do it. Yeah, that's visiting the archives. I have to wonder where I'll go next and what I'll talk about next. Who knows, maybe I'll do polls if this proves to actually be a popular thing, who knows. But for now, I'll just be making lore summary tidbit things about whatever in games I find interesting, because personally I find the lore built up within games to be very underappreciated. Lore is one of my favorite things in games, seeing how they try to implement it within said game worlds, you know? So I want to try and shed some light onto that. I'll definitely be touching on some Warframe lore in the future, because that's honestly one of my favorite ones. But yeah, hope you liked the video. I know this wasn't the best video ever. Like, it's not perfect, but I'll definitely be working to improve. Yeah. So yeah, if you got any criticisms, advice to help me improve, I'd gladly accept it in the comments. But other than that, if you found this entertaining and informative at all, feel free to like it, comment, subscribe, whatever. So yeah, this has been the TheRatMan visiting the archives, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.